What's going on, guys? It's your boy KC, bringing a major mind to another major topic. This time it's free agency, NBA free agency. This offseason has been explosive, I'm telling you. It's like a migration from the east to the west. It's been ridiculous. What I want to do in this video is I want to kind of go through some of the people top to bottom that I think did the best job in free agency, the best teams, the best moves, the winners of free agency, so to speak. I got about 5 or 6 teams that I think did fantastic in this off season, and I'm gonna list them off. Okay, number one, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't care what anybody else says about any other team's moves. The Timberwolves went 0 to 100 on this offseason. 0 to 100. I am not joking. They added 3, count them, 3 solid starters to their squad, right? When you talk about Jeff Teague, Jimmy Butler, and Taj Gibson, right? They only gave up Zach LaVine, who was hurt last year, and Chris Dunn, who hasn't done anything yet. So for them to add 3 bona fide starters, right, and one of them a significant all-star, is a huge move. They're going from bottom of the conference to possibly the 5th, 4th, or even the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Talk about being a two-way team as well. Jimmy Butler, great on defense, great on offense. Jeff Teague, great on defense, great on offense, or very good on both sides. And Taj Gibson has always been a solid guy with a mid-range jumper and some post moves and great defensive skills. So Minnesota Timberwolves, that's a straight-up home run. Number 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm telling you, man, for them to pick up Paul George, fantastic, right? But it's not just the fact that they picked up Paul George, but they just also signed Patrick Peterson. If you guys don't know who Patrick Peterson is, he's been a very good stretch for his entire career, especially his past couple years in Toronto. He's a big guy who can shoot the ball. That is a perfect addition for their squad. I literally mean a perfect for addition to their squad. If you watched the Thunder last year, only thing that you could say is, damn, these motherfuckers need shooting. Damn, they need shooting. They had nobody outside of maybe Doug McDermott that can make a jump shot. It was sad. It was pathetic. Russell Westbrook was playing 1-on-5 on offense every time. Now they got Paul George, who can run the offense by himself, who's a great shooter, has great moves. And they got Patrick Peterson, who's a big man who can help them rebound and stretch their floor, because they had nobody who could shoot a 3 from the big man slot at all. Enes Kanter can't shoot. Steven Adams damn sure can't shoot. So OKC, props to you guys. You made a significant upgrade. Number 3, the Rockets. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying Chris Paul and James Harden won't work. Those people are stupid. You are stupid. It's common sense, right? It's common sense. You're telling me that, okay, James Harden is a guy who has the ball in his hand a lot, but he averaged 11 assists. So he's a passer. He likes to pass, right? Chris Paul likes to pass. How can you put 2 guys together that like to pass and it not work? How does that make... I don't get how that's not 2 + 2 is 4. How does that equal anything else but 4? It's nothing like... I could understand people being like it wasn't going to work for LeBron and D Wade when they got together, because both of those guys kept the ball in their hands a lot. D Wade wasn't a big assist man. He never really cracked 4 or 5 assists a game. LeBron is a passer, but he's a ball dominant passer. He'll hold the ball for a while. So it made sense for them to be like, oh, maybe this won't work. But for James Harden and Chris Paul, both of these guys can shoot. Both of them. Chris Paul can shoot the rock. He's gonna have no problem having James Harden handle it, and vice versa. James Harden's already been a 6th man. Last year was the first time he ever played point guard. Are you kidding me? Yes, his numbers might drop a little, but that doesn't mean this isn't gonna work to any stretch of the imagination. For them two to come together is an extremely dangerous combination, especially when you add in the fact that Chris Paul can play some defense, and the Rockets damn sure needed some defense. So Rockets, kudos to you guys. Number 3 spot for sure. No question about it. Number 4, I'm gonna give it to you Celtics fans. All right, well, okay, whoop-de-doo, you guys got Gordon Hayward. I'm not gonna downplay it too much. Gordon Hayward is Gordon Hayward. You guys, the main reason why I'm gonna give you guys a 4 spot, because I honestly don't think Gordon Hayward is gonna make you guys that much better. The other 3 teams, I think it's gonna give them a significant increase. You guys, I don't know how much better you're gonna get, but you did get the perfect player for your system, and that's never a loss. It's never a loss, right? Isaiah needed somebody else who could get their own buckets on that squad. You guys needed somebody else who could shoot consistently, and you needed somebody else specifically at that small forward or shooting guard position. So kudos to the Celtics. Moving on. Number 5, some people might be surprised by this, right? Some people might be a little bit surprised by this, but I'm actually going to give it to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets signed Paul Millsap. Whoa, prime. Now don't get me wrong, the Nuggets they're not gonna be a 3rd seed in the West or nothing like that. But whoa, if you know anything about Nikola Jokic, the center for the Denver Nuggets, he is an assist man like we've never seen from that position. For him to be 7 feet, to be able to rebound like he does, to be able to shoot like he does, and to be able to pass like he does. They run their offense through him. So to add a guy like Paul Millsap, who is going to be a perfect complement to Jokic because he can shoot. He can shoot like Jokic, but he can rebound a little bit more aggressively than Jokic. Paul Millsap likes to bang down low. So with Jokic coming outside a little bit, spreading the floor with his shooting and passing, you can send Paul Millsap down deep to really give people serious problems. That's awesome. And he can play defense better than anybody else on that team pretty much, except for Kevin Fareed. So for them to add Paul Millsap is a huge upgrade for them. I'm telling you, even though they lost Gallinari, and I'm going to get to that in a second, they really did add to their squad by adding Paul Millsap, who is a bona fide all-star in the Eastern Conference. So kudos to them, especially when you consider the fact that they did need another person who can pass the ball. And Paul Millsap is a big passer as well, because their guards are more scoring-oriented. So kudos to the Nuggets, right? They're my number 5 team in free agency. That's top 5. But I also have a 6th team and a 7th team, honestly, that I want to mention, right? The 6th team, even though they lost a player, they did a fantastic job making up for it. The LA Clippers. I literally want to go to their management and give them a high five. For real. Because they were probably going to lose Chris Paul anyway. Honestly. They were probably going to lose him in free agency. Probably just going to walk. Or they could have gotten a lot less back for him. Think about this. Their main problem before they lost Chris Paul is they had nobody that could score outside of Chris Paul on the wings. Blake Griffin wasn't really getting it done. He wasn't consistent. They needed a small forward so badly. So badly. That was their main problem. They couldn't keep up with the Warriors, the Cavs, any good team, really. They would eventually fall off because they only had Chris Paul in their backcourt and on their wings. They really didn't have anything else. Austin Rivers, he's not really that much of a scorer. Jamal Crawford is too off and on. He'll shoot you in a game. He'll shoot you out of a game. So they really needed to make improvements there. So what they do is they bring Blake Griffin back, who is a great passer. You can run an offense through Blake Griffin, right? And then with the addition of Patrick Beverley, who gives them the defense that Chris Paul had, right? But not the offense, but he gives you the defense that they had with Chris Paul. And then you add Lou Williams, combined with Patrick Beverley, you almost have the Chris Paul style or Chris Paul quality offense. You don't necessarily have the ball movement, but you absolutely have the scoring power with Lou Williams. And then they really hit home with signing Danilo Gallinari. So think about this. They lost one player. They lost the starter in Chris Paul and added 3 starters. Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, and Danilo Gallinari. Now, from top to bottom in their starting lineup, they are solid. The Clippers are actually solid. They have Pat Beverley, Lou Williams, Danilo Gallinari, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. So they are a solid team. Yes, they're going to fall off a little bit because the West just got better overall with the Thunder and the Rockets, and the Spurs are still good. But the Clippers, they're not really missing much of a beat. They're really hanging in there. They're really going to be competitive. So the Clippers did a great great job by adding what they added, keeping Danilo Gallinari, because they needed a guy like Danilo Gallinari even when Chris Paul was there. So for the fact that they got him now that he's gone is awesome, right? They got exactly what they were looking for. So real big kudos to the Clippers. They did a great job. Number 6. Number 7, the last team that I really wanted to mention. They're not going to be so great, but they just did something cool. The Sacramento Kings. Nobody talks about the Sacramento Kings. I had a cousin that lived in Sacramento. He said they don't even talk about them out there. So nobody cares about the Sacramento Kings. But they just added 2 really bona fide starters, George Hill and Zach Randolph. Whoa. They're actually going to be a playoff team now. The West has 7 bona fide playoff teams. Like straight up 7, 8 bona fide playoff teams. You can pretty much call it right now. Warriors, Spurs, Rockets, Thunder, Clippers, Kings. Who am I missing? Whatever. But still, it's just in the Timberwolves. It's crazy that the Kings actually made a move to get them really into the playoffs, because George Hill can score on a lot of people. He can shoot very well. He plays great defense. And Zebo, even though he's 36, that nigga is still a problem. Zach Randolph is still a problem. So when you add in Buddy Hield, Labisserier, however you say his name, and Willie Cauley-Stein on the Kings, they've got a team. They've got a squad. They're going to be competitive. So that's really my 7 teams that I really wanted to talk about that did a great job in free agency. Real quick, I feel bad for the Heat. They should have got Gordon Hayward. They would have been nasty with Gordon Hayward, so I feel bad for the Heat. I feel bad for the Bulls. The Bulls lost Jimmy Butler, and they're probably gonna suck now. The Wizards lost Otto Porter Jr. They're not gonna get anybody, and they're probably gonna suck now too. Because, well, they're not gonna suck because the East sucks, but they're not gonna get any better. That's for sure. The Rockets, they lost Patrick Patterson, but he wasn't doing much for them. But they're not gonna. I mean, not the Rockets, the Raptors. They're not going to be any better. So the East just as a whole got worse. Yes, Gordon Hayward's there. So, yeah, we got another all-star in the East. But the East as a whole lost in free agency, if you ask me. But hopefully this Melo trade might happen where Melo might end up in Cleveland. Kevin Love might end up with the Hawks, which is my favorite team. So we'll hope for that. But honestly, free agency this year, the offseason this year, nuts. I can't wait for next season. But like this, comment, share, let's talk. And tell me what y'all want to hear next, y'all. But I'm out. Peace.